Sup guys, it's Will here with Core Performance. Today's video is part 3 in a short 4-part series about leadership in the cold. If you're just joining us, in the last video we talked about preparing for increased casualties, what that means, and a few tips to help focus the unit for operations in a different environment than what they may be used to. Today's focus, understanding unit capabilities and limitations. Last time we briefly touched on Old General Winter, which was the Russian climate that repelled 2 separate invasions. One by Napoleon that we talked about last time and his French forces, and then again when the German soldiers suffered about 100,000 cases of frostbite on the Eastern Front during World War II. Now, does that mean that Russia would go on to win every single skirmish just because it was cold? Nope, not at all. In the winter in 1939 to 1940, when the Soviet forces flooded over the Finnish border in an attempt to assimilate Finland by force, they essentially ran into a Finnish defense that was outnumbered 5-1. But that Finnish force traded space for time and inflicted massive casualties on their large Soviet aggressors. If you want to know the whole story, see the article Weaponizing Winter in our Insights blog link below. But that's just an example of how a perceived strength, i.e. sheer numbers and the ability to survive or just live in harsh temperatures, is only part of the equation. When moving the mass force on the offense, the Soviets were limited in their ability to deal with a much smaller and flexible force that knew how to fight, not just defend in the cold. Having a full understanding of your unit's capabilities and limitations is crucial to mission success. We often spend lots of time focused on the enemy, not nearly enough time doing self-assessment. Tip number 1, be a realist. Pay a lot of attention to the terrain, weather, equipment, and level of training and fitness of your unit. If you didn't do the prep, you can't always expect a miracle. Tip number 2, think of the time. Everything is harder and slower in cold weather. Muscles and bodies move slower. There's a tendency to drift. A realistic plan that accurately and understands the capes and limbs is what leads to success. Between LD and consolidation, there will be a lot of variance in time and space. Tip number 3, document past performance. If you want a true indicator of future capabilities, ensure every movement is tracked. Every time a unit moves, a route car can be created to predict the unit's movement time based on the assessment of the route and terrain. When they get back, compare that assessment as sort of a database. Now you have that on record. Rehearse and document the results. Tip number 4, don't ignore the variables. The more variables a leader ignores, the less likely you'll understand about your unit's capabilities. And as previously mentioned, the work that you do up front is crucial in understanding that your ops or your training are successful. It will require you to have some enhanced leadership awareness, which we'll discuss in the next video. If you got questions or tips or lessons learned that you'd like to share with everyone, drop them in the comments below. And check out our Insights blog in the show notes. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and smash that notification button. Until next time, stay frosty.